Hey, what is going on, guys? About a month ago, I shared something on Facebook, just a thought on Facebook that got a lot of positive response from you guys and a little bit kind of disagreement as well too. But it got a massive response, so I thought I wanted to put it in a video and also take this opportunity to maybe elaborate on the thought a little bit more too in this video for you guys. So let me just go ahead and read you what the post was here first. Some advice for my fellow modelers. If you ever need a boost of confidence, or if you ever need a reminder, next time you see an amazing build online by a fantastic top-notch modeler, just zoom in, and look around until you find a flaw, because I promise you they're there. A seam line removed but still slightly visible, a little bit of mold line or a touch of panel line paint or wash that was not cleaned up. No model is perfect, and as modelers we know right where the mistakes are on our own works, but just remember that everyone else, no matter how good they are, also have these little secrets or just things they missed. That gives me comfort, so don't be afraid to make mistakes, don't be afraid to not finish a build because it's not perfect. Strive to improve, but a hobby shouldn't be stressful. Just build and enjoy, you got this. So if you guys ever watched the episodes that I do with Josh of Plamo No Trend, where we take a look at works on Twitter, that's where I personally get a lot of motivation and inspiration for my work, is just seeing all the cool things around on Twitter. And this is where I kind of had this thought, because I see all these cool works all the time, and when you do zoom in on the builds and you look around really closely, you can see little small imperfections, and I'm not necessarily saying that that's a bad thing by any means. If you guys watch the show, you know that we have our kind of running joke of the Plamo police, where we find these little imperfections and we just kind of make a joke about it, because honestly it's not a big deal. We never take it seriously, saying like, oh man, I love this build, that nub just totally ruins it for me. He's just not really that great of a modeler. We just play it off as a joke, because honestly that's all it ever really should be. Now, I don't feel like there's any point in naming any names or anything, but I do just want to address a couple of the people who kind of disagreed with my opinion. So like one person said here, definitely there is no perfect build, but why the need to find fault in people's work? That's just nitpicking. If confidence in building is what a modeler needs, just knowing the fact that seasoned modelers were once noobs is enough. Focusing on flaws in a build to find for you to gain confidence sounds weird. And yes, I basically would completely agree with that entire thought. It's just that it's kind of missing the point of what I was saying. I also agree that the idea that seasoned modelers, competition winning modelers, world-class modelers were once also beginners too, is also a comforting thought, but it's just something that's a little bit more intangible, and that it's not something that you can necessarily see with your own eyes. It's just a thought that you kind of have to keep in the back of your mind. And the whole point of what I was originally saying was not that you should look for flaws, not that you should see something that you think that looks cool, a build that you think looks cool, and then you should go in and find flaws on that in order to gain confidence. And yes, nitpicking is also something that you really shouldn't do that much really at all either. That's not the point, is to nitpick. The point is to admire those works and look to these amazing works that you see around online as a source of inspiration for you. But seeing the imperfections is not finding flaws, it's finding the humanity in their works, finding that, okay, this modeler who I respect a lot, and in my opinion is like a world-class modeler, is not a god. He's just a normal guy like me who has higher skills, maybe a lot more experience maybe than me, but he still makes mistakes too, just like I do. So when I make mistakes, I shouldn't feel that bad. I shouldn't get too down on myself for making mistakes, because everyone does it, even the people who are at the top. Someone else here said, it's weird that you mentioned that people should go looking for mistakes in others to boost their confidence. Shouldn't you be using the work of others for inspiration and driving your skills forward in every build by trying something new? Again, it's just kind of a misinterpretation of what I was saying. I'm not telling all you guys to get out there and start finding all the flaws in everyone's works. Obviously, I don't think that's what most of you guys, I don't think that's what you understood by what I was saying. What I was saying, again, is that you should look at a lot of other people's works for inspiration, but I think you can just take comfort in the fact that while you're admiring other people's works, if you find a flaw, it's just a reminder to yourself, again, that they are just as human as you are. And I also sort of agree and disagree with the whole idea of driving your skills forward and trying something new with every build. I think I do agree with that on one hand and disagree with that on the other hand. So this is a little bit of kind of a tangent, but just bear with me here for a moment. There's a kind of general thought that a lot of people have in the hobby that you should try something new with every build or try to always improve your skill. And I think that is, in my personal opinion, a good philosophy to have about your model building. That said, it is not the only philosophy that exists or should exist. There's a significant amount of people who enjoy Gunpla modeling and don't share that thought, and that is completely fine. And I think a lot more people need to accept that in the community as well too. There's a lot of people who just like to build the models and don't do anything with them, or just do some panel lining, just throw on a couple stickers, a little top coat. I think, and you guys have, if you've ever heard me talk about this before, have always said that that is perfectly fine and completely accepted and should be accepted. If you're going around online and criticizing people negatively for not doing more with their models or not trying to improve their skills, then you're just doing it wrong, I think. You have to, this is a hobby that is meant for people to just find personal enjoyment, and if you're telling someone else that they're enjoying it in the wrong way, that doesn't really make sense to me. I can't really understand that thought process to me personally. If someone has the philosophy of wanting to try something new in every build and always improve their skills and always learning to improve their skills, I think that's awesome. And I share that generally, but I also am a firm believer in just enjoying the hobby as well too. And if always pushing yourself is kind of putting some stress on you as a modeler, and that you're always feeling like you really need to improve your skills constantly, it does also, it can be, it just depends on the person, it can be, putting undue stress on yourself that might be taking away from enjoying the hobby. Maybe you just want to do a couple of builds, at your current skill level and just kind of enjoy what you're doing, or even go back some skill levels. Maybe you're working on improving your scribing skills and your scratch building skills, but then you want to just take a break and do something a little bit easier and just a painted build without doing any of that. And that's kind of what you guys, if you follow my channel, what you see me doing. Sometimes I work on a build where I push myself a little bit more, and sometimes I work on a build that's just like a comfort build just because that's what I enjoy. And again, that is the main through line that should be through any person's involvement in this hobby, is that you're just enjoying it. That is the number one most important thing. If you're enjoying it, then no one has any right to criticize you for how you're enjoying the hobby. All that said, and I feel like I could probably go on and on about this in kind of different tangents, so I'll try to wrap it up soon. But if you're offering advice to someone or critique to someone online or receiving it, I mean, just be respectful to people. If you're offering some advice to someone, say, hey, why didn't you paint this and this? Why did you only paint some parts of the build or something like that? And someone says, oh, well, I'm not in the position, or I didn't want to paint this for whatever reason. You just kind of have to accept that and just be respectful of people, that's kind of thing. But I know it's a pretty tall order to ask people to be respectful online. I know it's, just something that is just kind of a silly thought in this day and age. But, in our community, it's just something that I would hope to see more of. I mean, I just love people just being positive, and just in general, but especially in our hobby, in our community, around in the different places around online that people are sharing their work. Always positivity is going to be better. And when someone says something stupid, or when someone does something, some work that isn't up to your standards of what you expect someone else to build, then just remember that, oh, that's not mine. That's something that I don't have to see on my shelf at home. That's something that someone else bought with their money and did what they wanted to do with it and has to put that up on their shelf in their house. So it really doesn't have that much effect on my life what they do with their own stuff anyway. So I won't bother wasting my life, wasting my time criticizing other people for how I think they did their hobby wrong. It's just stupid. So just coming back full circle to my original point. So when you see people that are doing amazing work, follow them, support them, compliment them on their work, share their work around, enjoy their work, enjoy people's work, look to other people's work for motivation, for ideas. Imitation is the greatest form of flattery. I always say, a couple people have asked me over the years, like, hey, I really liked your color scheme on this model. Can I use it? The same one? And I would say yes, of course, by all means. I don't mind at all. So I mean, look to other people's work for inspiration. I certainly do that. I would definitely advise you guys to do that as well too. But just remember that no matter how good other people are, they're still human just like you. They still make mistakes. And so I'll just leave you guys with a quote from the great Marcus Aurelius, who is the part of the namesake for this channel, not only because he was just a great Roman emperor, that's not really necessarily related, but because he was also a Stoic philosopher, and I'm a big believer in Stoicism. So his quote, which I love so much and is very fitting to the subject matter we're discussing, goes something like this: "Because your own strength is unequal to the task, do not assume that the task is beyond the powers of man. But if anything is within the powers and province of man, believe that it is also within your own compass also." So that's it for today, guys. So thank you so much for listening, and I wish you all a great day, positive, happy experience. Enjoy your Gunpla, enjoy other people's Gunpla, and I'll see you guys all very soon. Bye, guys.